welcome to the show. Today we have a very special guest, Devin Miller. Devin is the founder, managing partner, and CEO of Miller IP Law, a business that helps startups and small business with their patents and trademarks. Devin's previous clients includes Amazon, Intel, Red Hat, and Ford. Let's welcome Devin Miller to the show. Devin, welcome to the show today.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, great. So you specialize in intellectual property because some of us listening are new or new startups or new business startups. So can you just share with us, like, how did you get into learning about that and becoming interested in IP law?
Yeah, and that's seems like it's a simple question, but it's a little bit longer. I'll try and keep it a reasonable scope. So I was undergraduate. I studied in electrical engineering and Chinese, and so I got a dual degree there. And as I was kind of coming out to the or finishing the undergraduate, I was kind of looking and saying, well, I like engineering, but I don't know that I want to be an engineer, in the sense that it was more of, I liked knowing how things work, working on different projects. But if you're an engineer, it was typically more of, you had to be on a project for multiple years or decades in order to work your way up to the company, have any real impact, and otherwise you were a small cog in a big wheel. So I started to kind of say, I'd like to incorporate engineering into what I do, but I don't know that I want to be an engineer. So with that, it was really with the idea of kind of looking at what else I'd like to do. And I kind of had two paths I was looking at. One was to do startups and small businesses and be an entrepreneur, which I thought was sounded enticing. And the other one was more on the legal side of doing intellectual property, patents, and trademarks, and utilizing the engineering and the degree there. And so I ended up going both routes. So I ended up doing both an entrepreneur, went and got an MBA, as well as I got my law degree at the same time, and I've really been doing it ever since. So it's really been my love and passion of startups and small businesses. So I've done several myself, as well as helping other startups and small businesses to protect and grow their business.
So great. Yeah, because if anyone is wondering what it takes to get a patent, because this is where and can you talk a little bit what is a patent and who needs it? Is it only big corporations or big business making a lot of money, or can someone just as simple as a one person that might have an invention? Is it basically business inventions, or can it be like a character, or even like for artists or writers, a book? Or could you just explain a little bit so we can just kind of get a gist of like who needs a patent and why?
Yeah, and I think that probably is a good level set to that. It'd be kind of worthwhile to go over what is intellectual property and what is it included, and when would you be considering it, and kind of a quick walkthrough there. So as a level set, intellectual property includes patents, trademarks, copyrights. If you're to think of patents, they're basically going towards an invention, something that has functionality. It does something. It accomplishes a utility, or it does something. That's going to be a patent, an invention. A trademark is more for branding. So if you're to think of a name of a company, name of a product, a catchphrase, a logo, anything you really do with your branding is going to fall under trademarks. And copyrights are going to be more of creative. So if you're to think of a photo, a picture, a video, a book, anything of that nature, those all fall under copyrights. And so now to kind of answer your question, is it only for big businesses and those? Well, no. I mean, if you created the world's next greatest invention and you're a solo inventor or solo or business or startup or small business, you're still going to want to protect all of that blood, sweat, and tears that go in, and that time and money that goes into creating the invention. Same thing with the brand. If you created the world's next best brand, you're just getting started, but you have aspirations, you have a great funding and a business plan and things that are going to go well, you're going to want to protect that brand. Same thing if you write the next best-selling book, whether it's Harry Potter or Tom Clancy or Lord of the Rings or whatever genre you like. All of those are really going to be what you're going to, as you're developing whatever avenue of your business, you'll be looking to protect and grow the business using intellectual property.
Okay. And so just, you said patents are for people that have a product that has functionality. So that's like, because you said there's three distinct things: patents, trademarks, and copyright. So I just, because we have like a beautiful audience all around the world, and thank you, Italy, Kenya, and Indonesia and all our countries that listen to us regularly, Australia, United States. We have so many people that are interested in this. So, could you, and so trademark is more if it's a company branding, like we see Coca-Cola, kind of like, right? Coca-Cola's trademark, or and then copyright is the creative, like the book, the picture, and the photo. Is that kind of a summary, or maybe you have the words a little bit better than me as an
No,
attorney?
I think that was a great summary. So yeah, if you're to think of, let's take Apple as an example because they probably have all three. Apple has created smartphones. They have consumer electronics. They kind of time, money, and effort to make the next iPhone, to develop different air features and those things. So that falls under the patent for Apple. They also have the brand. The name of the company is Apple. They have their logo. They have the iPhone as a product name, and so there are several trademarks, so they're protecting their various businesses. And then they also have copyrights. And you think of, when they do their commercials, when they do their videos, when they do things on their website and imagery, those are coming to be copyrighted. So really, it's not that you only have necessarily one for your business, but it depends on your business. And so, yeah, to your point, those are all different examples of the various things that you'd be falling under.
Okay, great. And then, and a lot of people, like I also have Filmatics podcast, so a lot of Filmatics listeners listen to us, as well as Girls Guide to Investing listeners, our moguls, our future moguls. So I just want to ask you, if you are a writer or an artist, if you have a copyright, is anyone allowed to trademark what you have copywritten? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you copyright something, is it protection enough? And like, why do you need to go up to a trademark? Or and also the question, could somebody trademark what you have copywritten, or are you safe?
So yeah, that's definitely a fair question. I think it sometimes can get a bit muddled between the where they may overlap and where they're different. But let's say you wrote the world's next best book, just so we can use that as an example. And it's going to be the next bestseller, and it's going to make you oodles of money, or and get acclaim and everything else. A copyright is going to be for the actual book that you wrote, so the contents, the words, the story,
So
what
he's
you actually wrote down. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay, because a little reception went out. So copyright is the words, the description, and the words of the book, and the artwork, right?
Yep, exactly. So that would all fall under copyright. Now, if you're to take the title of the book, so you wrote a collection of, whether it's Harry Potter or Tom Clancy, whatever it is, but you had this collection of the book. The title of the book would be more falling under trademarks, and so that's really more of, hey, when people, they're not necessarily reading the content, they're looking at the name of the book, the author, and who it's sold by, and that's on the branding side. So you wouldn't copyright a brand mark the series. That's where you're going to trademark. The actual copyrights and all the content and what you wrote is going to fall under copyright.
Okay, so the reception went out a little bit. So the trademark is more the branding. So like, once it becomes famous, like Disney, like once Disney becomes like, oh, Disney, then Disney trademarks Disney, and he starts trademarking like Mickey Mouse. Is that kind of like the way it goes?
Yeah. So Disney, to your point, would be, the name of the company, Disney. They have the Mickey Mouse as another trademark. That's for a brand. All of those are going to be under trademarks. Now, when Disney makes a movie, whatever the movie might be, the actual contents of the movie are going to be copyrights. And so all of the filming and all of the pictures and all the images, those are all going to fall under copyrights. But the actual name of let's take Toy Story as an example for Disney. Toy Story, you have Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't remember how many are left now, but you have multiple Toy Stories. The brand of the movie series is Toy Story. That falls under trademarks. If you're saying, hey, we're referring to the movie, you refer to the brand, Toy Story movies. Now when you watch the actual movie, so the film, the editing, all of the voiceovers, that's all under copyright. So they both go to protect the same, the same video, or the same movie, but the brand is one thing and the actual contents are a different one.
And so, so that's really great. These can be used to protect your business, right? And so do you like, can you, is when, I guess this is a good question. Some listeners have asked me, because I tell people a little bit about, like, when is the best time to put a trademark? Right away, or can you wait a little bit for a trademark? Which one comes first, copyright, trademark, or both? Or is there any perfect time to do a trademark, or can you wait a little bit till you get some money? Or
Yeah, I mean, I think that the first thing is get your business up and going. I mean, if you don't have any business, if all you're doing is spending it on legal fees and the business never gets up and going and never has sales, doesn't do any good to have the copyright or the trademark. But now once you've got, you're saying, okay, we've got the business going, or we've got it up and running, or we have the money set aside or investor dollars. Usually when I look into what is the right timing is, and it's kind of across the board for all of them, is if you're getting to the point that there would be an ouch factor. Now, what does an ouch factor mean? So let's say you are starting a business, you're coming along, you're doing branding, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, and if somebody were to come along and they were to copy the name of your business, or very similar to the name of your business, or your logo, and in eventuality you say, that's not a big deal, we could rebrand, it's really not going to be that much money or time or effort, then you probably haven't reached the point where you need to get a trademark. On the other hand, you're saying, no, we just spent $100,000 on a big marketing campaign and we built all this reputation to have a big following, and somebody comes along and knocks off our name and people start getting confused, then we're going to want to have that protected. Then you're getting to the point where you'd want to have a trademark. So really it's going to be kind of looking at when is that going to hurt your business, or when is that going to have that kind of ouch factor. And if you're reaching that point in the business, then you're going to want to make sure to have it protected. Same kind of thing goes for copyright. If you're going to be putting in years or a lot of time, money, and effort to write the next best book, or do a painting, or do a video or a movie, and you're saying if somebody were to come along and just grab that book or grab that movie, grab that painting and copy it, would it hurt my business? Well, if so, then you'd want to get it protected and otherwise copyrighted. If on the other hand, say, yeah, I wrote a few pages of the book, if somebody were to come along and do that, not a big deal. I could start over and it wouldn't be a worthwhile pursuit. Then you can probably hold off. So it's not necessarily, hey, wait 3 months or 6 months. It's more the stage of the business as to whether or not the asset that you're wanting to protect has enough value to make it worthwhile for the investment.
Thank you for clarifying that. And so I wanted to share with everyone, you yourself are amazing story. Can you share with us how a little secret is that you started in your garage, right? Can you share your story with all our future moguls here?
Yeah. So on the business side, it wasn't in the garage, but it was so I was backing up. At the time, I was doing my MBA as well as my law degree. So I was studying both degrees. At the same time, I was also I was studying. I had a 2-year-old kid. I had a toddler. I was working 20 hours as a law clerk, trying to get experience there at a law firm. And then amidst all of that, I had a business or competition that came up, and it was either an email or a flyer. And they basically came along and said, "Hey, I'd like this is a business competition. You come to the meeting, you form a group of people that you don't know, and you come up with an idea and you enter in the competition." And so that was kind of where it all started for me, was entered in the business competition, or formed a group, went to the meeting, formed a group, entered in the business competition. The first year we got together, we entered an idea to make gym bags less smelly. It was a cool idea, never really worked in reality. But we were all juniors at the time, and the second year we came back as seniors, and we're all saying, hey, it'd be fun to do it again. And so we were brainstorming different ideas of what we want to enter into that year. And we came up with some really stupid ideas like self-packing boxes and other things that didn't necessarily would have never worked. But one of the ideas that I'd come up with, I remember walking home from when we were having one of our brainstorming sessions, and I just got into running marathons. So I love to run, and it's for me, it's a good release and exercise. And so I said, wouldn't it be cool if, as you're doing marathons and athletics and sports activities, you can monitor your hydration level? In other words, you can have a watch on that say, hey, you're getting dehydrated, you need to start hydrating, and you need to it makes it so you can last longer, be better in the sports competition, not be as painful for marathons and those type of things. And so from that, pitched the idea to the group, came up with it, built a prototype with my dad over the Christmas break, entered in the business competition, took second place, bought out my partners, and started that business. And that was that business has continued to grow and evolve, and is still going today. It's in a bit of a different form, and still actively participate in it. So that's kind of on the business side, and kind of always alongside the business side, I've always been doing the law side. And as you mentioned, So when I graduated, in addition to running this business, I was also pursuing my law practice. So I worked with some larger law firms, worked for them for about 6.5 years, worked for all the big clients that you mentioned. And I decided I wanted to change my focus and really focus on startups and small businesses. So about 3.5 years ago, started my own law firm. And so it allowed me to pursue all of my entrepreneurial endeavors, do my own legal practice, service the clients I want. So that's been kind of on the business side how I got going, as well as on the legal side.
Oh, that's just so wonderful. And so you are you're where are you recording with us live today? Are you in Los Angeles?
I'm in Utah, so I'm just north of Salt Lake City.
So Utah, so you practice out there. Like if you're practicing in Utah, like who if someone wanted heard your podcast on the show and wanted to reach out to you, can you practice in any state to protect their copyright or their patent, or is it just in that state only?
Yeah, so nice thing about copyrights, patents, trademarks, they're all on the federal level. So I can help clients across all 50 states, and more of my clients are outside of Utah than inside of Utah. So we work with a lot of clients everywhere from California, New York, Hawaii, Alaska, and everywhere in between, as well as Utah. But yeah, so we are able to, because it's not state law specific, but rather on the federal level, we help clients all over. We also help a decent amount of international clients. And so we have a lot of times we'll do the work, and then we have relations with with different attorneys across most of all the bigger countries that will help us to file into those countries and manage it. So we end up working with clients in all 50 states. We help clients to file outside the U.S. that are located in the U.S. We have clients that are outside the U.S. come into the U.S. and we set it up to really be able to service just about everybody.
And what is the advantage to have an attorney help you do your trademark or your patent? Because I heard it's really difficult. I haven't done a trademark yet, but could you just share like why does someone need an attorney specifically for that?
Yeah, and probably the easiest analogy I could give, or the one that's most on point, would be is, let's say, as an example, you needed shelter over your head. And you could, if you're out in the wilderness, you didn't have any shelter, you could probably get a tent, figure out how to pitch it, and you would have shelter over your head. Now, wouldn't be very comfortable, wouldn't be very big, but you would have shelter over your head. You could also, if you want to take it a step further, you could go and watch a YouTube video, and it would tell you how to make the lumber and how to put it together, and you would build a house. Now, probably not a very sturdy house, not a very good house, but you would have a house. Or you could go and you could actually hire a builder, somebody that has experience, knows how to build homes, knows how to do a floor plan, how to do electrical work, and how to do, air conditioning. And then you would have a house that's comfortable, where you're going to want to live in, that suits your needs. And that's probably a bit analogous to why you hire an attorney. So could you technically go out and do a trademark or a patent yourself and try and go that route? Yeah, there's avenues that you can go and do that. But it's analogous to go pitching a tent. If what you want for your business is a tent and you're saying, hey, we just need something over our head, some sort of shelter, and we just want to get it filed, I would recommend people go doing it. On the other hand, go doing it themselves. On the other hand, you're saying, no, this is an investment. We're looking to build a business that's going to be profitable, it's going to be sustainable, it's going to grow, and we want to make sure it's protected and we have those assets in place. Then that's when you go hire the professional. You get the builder, or in this case, an attorney that has the experience, gotten the education, does it day in and day out. They can impart the knowledge. If it's on a patent, you have to write a particular format, has to have all the information, has to be geared towards to success. Same thing with the trademark, as far as how you identify what the trademark is, what types of classes, goods and services you're going to want, what other information do you need to provide, what type of specimens. And so it really kind of infuses that experience in there, so to where you get the house that you want, not just a tent pitched over your head.
And are there different levels, say like if you're like a student or a senior or, someone that's a little bit more struggling than a corporation or a big business? Are there different levels, or how would someone go about asking you? Do they just go to your website, or what are the steps, I guess?
Yeah. So on the first question, are there different levels? Patents, there are a bit of different levels. Copyrights, trademarks, honestly, they're not. The fees, the governmental fees, everything that's going to be done is the same whether you're a big business or a little business. The only exception with patents is that they do have, for the governmental fees, the government does give you a couple different categories. If you're a smaller business, if you only have $181,000 or less in income, and you haven't been named on a patent previously, as on an inventor of more than 4 patents, then you get a bit of a fee reduction. So they do give a bit of a break on the patents. Otherwise, it's going to be it's going to be the same cost for businesses of all sizes. Now, you asked kind of if you're wanting to get started. The easiest way to get started is, definitely we're happy to help. I would suggest before you go and you just say, hey, we're going to need a patent or a trademark or copyright, go talk with an attorney. Right now, it may be too early. It may be things that you haven't considered. There may be different options, and so a lot of firms, and ours included, will offer a consultation or a strategy meeting. So, as an example, if people wanted to reach out to us and grab some time, we do free strategy meetings where we sit down either in our office or remotely and talk through kind of what their business is and what they're doing. And they can just grab some time with that to go to strategymeeting.com. So that's always a good place to start.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted everyone to hear it really clear. So if they wanted to figure out their path for their business, whether it's a startup, small or big, you have these strategy meetings, which I think is fantastic because some people have stuff and they just don't know the steps, and they would also have to put that in their budget to save up to protect their business as well. So it's called a strategy meeting. And where would they go to request that meeting?
Yeah, strategymeeting.com. So just as easy as it sounds, if you want a strategy meeting, you just go to strategymeeting.com. That links right to my calendar. They can grab a day and time that works for them. They can either, I said, come in the office or grab a Zoom meeting, but just go to strategymeeting.com. And really the reason that I set that up, or the reason we offer it, is just kind of to your point. There's a lot of, especially if you're a startup or small business, you're saying, hey, I don't know if I need this. What do I need? When should I get started? What should I be budgeting for? And so it makes it easy that we said, okay, we're going to make it easy that it's free of charge. They don't have to pay anything for the strategy meeting. We can sit down, talk a little bit about their business, help them kind of get a roadmap or a strategy as to what they're going to need and when they're going to need it and what that might cost. And so that way, if they're wanting to get going today, we can help them out. If they want to, if they're saying, hey, really, you should be waiting for another 6 months, and here's what you should be doing in the meantime, it gives them that kind of that plan and that strategy that they can move forward and get everything taken care of.
That's really fantastic, Devin. And Devin, like, what do you say you do startups and small business? Is there a specialty that's really that you would like that you could really help people with if they're listening to, like, please call Devin and go to his office and say you're referred by Girls Guide to Investing. So is there a particular specialty that you excel in that they should really reach out to you?
Yeah, pretty well across. So on trademarks, we have it pretty well covered. And copyright, on patents, they tend to be a bit more different types of technologies, what you're going to be looking at. So we can pretty well cover anything that's mechanical, it's electrical, it's software. We also have done food patents. And so those are usually our kind of areas of expertise. But then beyond that, we're set up. We have myself and a few other attorneys at the firm that are really set up to pretty well give coverage to if they need any of those help. We also we help with business formations, other business-related agreements. And so really, it's one that's trying to be anything you're going to need as a startup or a small business to protect and grow your business. We're pretty well set up to help them out and get them handled. And if on the off chance that we aren't able to help them or we don't have that in place, most of the time we can provide pretty good referrals to connect them up with their other areas of the industry, such as an example, we had a client this week that needed some product safety. We don't do product safety, but we can refer them out and make connections so they can still get taken care of.
Wow, that's amazing. So all of our inventors and entrepreneurs, I hope you're listening to all the information that Devin Miller is providing. He's the managing partner and CEO of Miller IP law firm, that's intellectual property, and they help startups and small business with their patents and trademarks. So that's fantastic. Devin, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
No, I think that we've really run through it. My biggest piece of advice is if, get a strategy or a plan in place, and this kind of feels like it's rehearsing, but that's probably your biggest thing as a business. The biggest thing that I've seen with businesses that tends to bite them in the long run or creates issues or difficulties is when they wait too long, they lose their opportunities. They wait until they're getting their cease and desist letters or to where they've already created issues. And so even if you're not ready to get going today, it's better to get that strategy and that plan in place so that when you are ready, you have it protected. So that would be kind of the one parting piece of advice. Just get a strategy and a plan in place so that you can make sure as your business grows, you have everything that you need to be successful.
Yeah, and if you'd like to share one of your stories, how you got worked with Amazon or Red Hat, I would love to maybe want to quickly share that story with us.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so as I mentioned before, I worked or started my own firm, worked with the big clients, and I worked with Intel, Amazon, Red Hat, Ford, and others. And those ones are always fun. You get to see, as an example, when I worked with Amazon, I worked with some of what were the Kindles and all the backlighting systems. So now, if you go look at them and they light up and you can see the words when it's at nighttime, that was one that I worked on. That was kind of just a fun one. So there's a lot of, but that was one of the fun ones that everybody sees as a product out there. They recognize the name, and it kind of is a bit rewarding on that front. But honestly, the clients that I like to work with, the ones that are the best, are the startups. Those are the ones that they have the crazy idea. They only have one thing. They don't have unlimited funds. They're trying to figure out, make it work on a shoestring budget, get it up and going. And those are always the ones that are the most fun. So yeah, there's plenty of fun things that we worked on with Intel. I worked with a lot of their processors and their microchips and a lot of what's in their computers. When I was at Amazon, it was with the Kindles and those e-readers. When it was with Red Hat, if you know any operating systems, it's with Linux, and loved and enjoyed every minute of it. But I typically find the most rewarding is what I'm doing now of helping the startups and small businesses get the same level of service that I provided those clients, but on a much or on a better or more affordable scale, so we can also make sure that they understand it as they go along.
That's fantastic. Well, I could be a future client of yours with Enchanting book readings. My stories are doing extremely well, so I'm hoping my next level will be that they'll be selling well and getting TV and film deals. And I'm just so happy to have you in the show because we learn so much from every guest, and this is very important for people in business and startups. So this is fantastic, Devin. And Devin, so if anyone listening to the podcast today, they can go to what is your website for them? Can you share that?
Yeah, so we already hit on the one. If they want to do a strategy meeting, strategymeeting.com. If they just want to come, find out a little bit more about the law firm, myself, our flat fees, our prices, the process, we have a ton of content, video, audio, a lot of written content, trying to help everybody to understand what the process is and what they might need. All of that's available with lawwithmiller.com. So they can just go lawwithmiller, all one word.com. That goes right to our website, gives them a ton of content. And then if they want to do more of a one-on-one strategy, they go to strategymeeting.com.
Okay, so there's two, strategymeeting.com, and your law website is lawwithmiller.com.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, great. Devin, this has just been a very informative and fantastic show today. And just want to say thank you for coming on. And we want to just thank all our listeners for listening. And if you have a second, please hit the 5 stars and give us a nice review. And really appreciate our listeners. And thank you for listening. Until next week, everyone stay safe and healthy out there. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have a great day.